Hi guys, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free, stay free, and never have to wallow in that cesspool of misery again. In this video today, I want to talk about the narcissist testing process that they put their victims through, the test from its early inception right through to the end. Now, the narcissist test is all going to be part of that whole cycle of abuse. Now, the narcissist test starts out when they first spot you and have determined that you are going to be someone that they're going to target as a victim. The earliest part of the testing is really about trying to figure out if you have the kind of supply they need, if you are going to be a secondary source of supply, something they stick away in their narc harem for quickie supply, or if you're going to be permanent primary supply, typically someone that becomes their full-time girlfriend or wife, that sort of more permanent thing. But the testing initially is about determining where you're going to fall in their supply chain. Now, the first part of the test is passable. That part you can pass. What they're looking for from you is a high susceptibility for tolerance, empathy. Are you going to be able to unconditionally love them despite the horrendous amount of bullshit that, though you have no idea about, they know it's coming. They're looking for things like you've got a strong career, high earning potential, you've got money, you've got assets, you're well positioned socially, all these sorts of things that they see as supply and a way to feed off you. So if you've made it past that early kind of introduction with them, and now you've become either part of a lower secondary supply in their narc harem, or you've become primary supply as a permanent full-time girlfriend or wife, either way, if you made it to that point, you've passed that initial test. And that is absolutely the only part of the test that you can pass. Now, I've heard victims say that they were in the early phase of their relationship with the narcissist, the idealization, love bombing phase, for as long as a year. Now, I will say that this is quite uncommon. 3 to 6 months is really often the maximum that these covert, borderline personality types and narcissistic types can actually hold up that fake person they've created, hold up that fake image. I mean, this is a pretty heavy load, and it's not that easy to keep the mask in place and hold up that image. So more typically 3 to 6 months seems to be that cutoff point where the all-encompassing love starts to go shit show sideways. And of course the test changes now too. Where the test can really obviously be seen once you start transitioning from idealization to devaluing is that relentless I love you has now changed to you don't love me, you don't know how to love anyone, that kind of thing, right? That's kind of that transition. So now the test has changed, and now they're trying to start sucking off you, feeding off you. They're trying to see how much abuse you're going to take. Now, in some cases, it goes from absolutely dreamland love to big, huge bomb. And that can be very unsettling. That is a place where people quite often get trapped because in most cases, your narcissist is presenting as a victim. And this big bomb is kind of one way to find out, how much abuse you're going to take. They can very easily wiggle their way out of this situation by saying things like, and I know many of you have heard it, I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again. I've never been in a relationship that was this important to me. I've never had anyone I could depend on the way I do you. So this, whether the testing started out in small stages or one big bomb, That's what's happening now. And very typically, the marking of that shift is going to be going from I love you relentlessly to you don't love me, you don't know how to love anyone, you're not capable of love. And I think we've all heard those words. Going back and really understanding the fundamental points of this relationship with the narcissist has no capacity for love. Period. No capacity for empathy. Now, there's a very big difference between being in a month-long, many-year-long, or many-decade-long relationship with someone. What's actually happening is you are having your soul sucked out of you. You are not in what most normal, healthy people would consider to be a committed relationship. Now, yeah, the narc can stay for years and years and years, but never have they committed to you. That has not happened. They have no capacity for that. They've just been sucking the life out of you, draining you of all your sort of essential energy, your soul, who you are, and they are basically just getting as much as they can get. Now, sometimes they move on very quickly, and of course there's been many friends here at Kim Wilson TV who have been in this insanity for decades, and they're still constantly just having this vampire soul-sucking thing happening to them. So the testing has continued. Now, testing is going to look like lying. Testing is going to look like gaslighting. It's going to look like cheating. It's going to look like all kinds of horrible things. And that's basically what it is. And of course, there is no way to pass this test. Now, always remember, these fiends are absolute, habitual, chronic, pathological liars. Every word that comes out of their filthy pig mouths is going to be a lie, and this is part of the test. They want to know that you believe the lies, the infidelity, and the cheating. They don't want to be outwardly caught. They don't want to be busted with their hands in the cookie jar, but they're certainly going to be leaving telltale signs to rock your world and to leave you unsettled, which then introduces the gaslighting and the fact that you're crazy, you're nuts, you're bipolar, you need medication, and everything that you believe to be real is just some sort of figment of your mental disorder. So all of this is part of the test. How many lies will you believe? Will you suck up the cheating and infidelity? Are you going to respond favorably to the gaslighting and actually become the lunatic they're telling you that you are? That hot, cold, sweet, mean, that push and pull, that relentless cycle, all that ghosting, all that silent treatment. How are you going to respond to all of this? This is all part of a test. Now, you don't get to the other side of it and pass the test. God, no. The test just keeps going and going and going. So as we all know as victims, we just end up in this absolute perpetual state of nonstop madness, insanity, chaos, personal harm. It just doesn't stop. It never stops. Now, at the absolute core of the narcissist's insanity and madness is this tremendous fear of abandonment. So the abandonment fear is really what's spurring the test in a lot of ways. They're testing you to see how much shit and abuse you're going to take before you abandon them, because they're morbidly afraid that you're going to abandon them. So rather than feel that out of control sensation that they might be abandoned, they take control of this fear and force you to abandon them. I mean, we could talk circles about this all day long. It's absolute insanity. It's complete crazy making. It makes absolutely no sense. They're afraid to be abandoned. Had they just left you the hell alone to love them and engaged in a loving, committed, exchange with you, they would never have had a fear of abandonment. But no, it's a lot weirder than that. Now, there are three things that will stop the testing and the abuse. One, the narc will kill you, and don't believe for 1 second they're not capable of it. Two, you will kill yourself. And statistics show that more victims of narcissistic abuse commit suicide than any other form of domestic abuse. And the third option, which is a way better option than those two, is you run like you're being chased by Satan. And that means sometimes you've got to cut your losses. Leave with the shirt on your back. Drag your sorry broken ass up off the floor and get the hell out of there in any way you can. And yes, it's hard, and they've made it almost impossible. They've stripped away all your resources. You're crazy now. You can't think straight. You've been gaslit to the point that you don't know which end is up. But honest to God, leaving is your only hope for getting out of that mess and going on to have a great life. Now, it's a reality that you were in a really, really abusive relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You got to really always keep in mind that while you're trying to find a way to make it work, this is not the wavelength the narc is on. They are constantly building an agenda to destroy you. That is ultimately what they want to do. They are gravely envious of you. They hate you. They're incapable of loving you, and crushing and diminishing you is their only goal. So guys, as hard as it seems, as difficult as it seems, getting out of there and getting safe is really your best bet. Every day spent with the narc is another day that you were shut down to meeting a really decent, sane, well-adjusted, healthy person capable of love. And, you know, I think I deserve a good person in my life, and I know you guys do too. And, you know, you're just going to be subjected to someone who is plotting against you, lying to you, cheating on you, doing everything they can to destroy your career, your future, your hobbies, your passions, every relationship you have. I mean, it makes zero sense to stay. Now, I know for a lot of people, when kids are involved and you got money entanglement, it's very, very difficult. But you know, especially when you're being gaslit steady and being told you're crazy and being called names. And yes, but you know what? I was there. I was absolutely there. Suicide was certainly something I was thinking about, but I got out. I did. And it wasn't easy, and it took almost 7 months. But I got out, and if I can do it, you guys can do it too. I'm Kim. Bless your hearts, guys.